Good morning, everybody. This is meteorologist Jeff Gerber, and I want to give you the latest on what is now Tropical Depression number 9. Hurricane Hunter plane has not really been in there investigating yet. The Hurricane Center went ahead and said, okay, this looks on satellite that it is at least a tropical depression. So they went ahead and upgraded it to a tropical depression. And right now they're also putting a track on this thing that takes it up through south central Louisiana as we head into looks like late Sunday night, if not early Monday morning. So we're going to show you all that. We're going to show you what we're looking at here through the next few days and what we could expect here in Southeast Texas possibly as we head into early on Monday. So let's get started. First of all, here's just a satellite of the storm still down in the Caribbean. Let's show you the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Tropical Depression number 9 as of the 10 a.m. advisory. Winds at 35 miles per hour. It is moving to the northwest at about 13 right now. I'm going to slowly go through the track here, and we're going to show you what they're expecting it to do as we head into this weekend and then as we go into early next week. So track takes it off towards the north and west over Cuba. Looks like late tomorrow night or late tomorrow into tomorrow night. Still a tropical storm. Once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, right now it does not look like there's going to be anything as far as strong wind shear or anything like that really inhibiting the storm. So by Saturday morning, 8 a.m., they're expected to be a Category 1 hurricane. By Saturday night, winds up to 90 miles an hour. By Sunday morning, they are expecting it to be a Category 2 hurricane with winds at 110 miles per hour as it starts to approach the Louisiana coastline. Once again, this is Sunday morning at 7 a.m. As we get into, it looks like Sunday night, very late or very early on Monday morning, the storm will start to move in towards Vermilion Bay through south central Louisiana. At this point, they're progging it to be maybe a Category 2 hurricane as it comes on the coast. Now, this of course could change. It could be weaker, it could be stronger as it comes in as we head into late Sunday night, early Monday morning. By Monday morning at 7 a.m., they have it just inland, maybe not quite to or maybe right close to Lafayette, Louisiana, as a Category 1 hurricane with winds at 80 miles per hour. That's 7 a.m. on Monday. Then as we get into later on Monday or Tuesday morning, it has it up into Arkansas and it'll continue to move northeast from there. So as this storm comes in, it'll quickly move off towards the north and eventually off towards the east. It will not stick around. It's not going to linger. This will not be another Harvey where it sticks along the coast and gives us tons of rain. So the question is, on this track, how will Southeast Texas be affected? Also, our neighbors over there in southwest Louisiana, how will they be affected? It all depends on what the structure of the storm is when it comes in. Will it, how far out will the hurricane force winds extend from the center of the storm? So we're talking about hurricane winds extend out a couple of 20, 30 miles from the center. Will it extend out 100 miles from the center? It all depends on how the structure of the storm is when it comes in. Of course, if the hurricane winds only extend out 30, 40 miles from the center on this track, we'll be fine here in southeast Texas. We won't feel those hurricane force winds. Now, if this becomes a strong Category 2 and we have hurricane force winds extending out a couple hundred miles from the center, which I doubt, but I've seen Category 2 hurricanes with hurricane force winds extending out 60 to 100 miles from the center, then that would be affecting southwest Louisiana and maybe even some of parts of southeast Texas. That's if this becomes a fairly large hurricane and those hurricane force winds extend out very far from the center. Generally, with a type of storm, hurricane, you'll see hurricane force winds extending out say anywhere from 40, maybe 60 miles from the center. If that's the case, then we won't feel those hurricane force winds, but still could get wind gust anywhere from tropical storm or tropical depression, which strength was 35 to up to maybe 45, 55 miles per hour, depending on exactly how far out, once again, those winds extend from the center. We're going to have to wait and see on that. But As far as rains are concerned, usually the heaviest rains are on the east side of these storms, not the west side. So we might pick up, 2 to 5 inches of rainfall, or 2 to 6 inches of rainfall, while the east side could pick up a couple of feet of rain in some spots, or at least say 10 to 15 inches of rain, places like New Orleans, Biloxi, Jackson, Mississippi, places like that. It all depends on the structure of the storm as it comes in. If this becomes a lopsided storm, which we're not really thinking that it will be, because there's not going to be a ton of wind shear there, really kind of pushing this storm to, to be a little lopsided. Looks like it, as it comes in, it might have a pretty good structure, which, we will get some rain from it, but it all depends on what the storm looks like as it comes in. Is it a textbook hurricane with rain completely covering around the center? Is it lopsided with the rain on one side and not the other? We'll have to wait and see. But on this track right here, as the storm goes off towards our east, we're on the west side. That is a lot better track than if it would be tracking over Houston or right over top of us, where we would get the main winds and we'd get the heaviest rain. So right now, we're looking at a track through south central Louisiana. We will get some rain from it, and depending on how large the storm is, we could get some wind from it. We'll have to wait and see. And also, don't let your guard down. This track could change. It could wobble one way or the other. It could still come right over southeast Texas. It could push all the way over to New Orleans. So something to definitely be watching. We're not going to look at this track and say, okay, well, we should be okay. It's going to be east of us. We don't have to worry about it. This track could definitely change over the next, say, 36 to 48 hours. So we're going to be watching it pretty closely. Here are the computer models, and you can see the biggest cluster of the computer models are right over parts of south central, southeastern Louisiana. So they look at that cluster and they say, okay, well, the majority of the models are heading up into that direction, and that's what they followed when they went and made the initial track here. Is through south central Louisiana, as you look at all the computer models kind of clogging up together there into parts of southern Louisiana. I want to show you some single runs of a couple of computer models. This is the European model. Also, this track of this model is very close to what they went with, showing that it comes on shore 5, 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning as Category 1 hurricane, Category 2 hurricane possibly on the European model, and then moves off towards the north and east as we go towards Tuesday and Wednesday. Now the American model is different. Let's take a look at the American model. American model takes it farther off towards the east, and it's a lot quicker. It has it coming in across the New Orleans area around lunchtime on Sunday. So definitely a lot quicker and a lot farther towards the east. I think the Hurricane Center looked at this model and really didn't agree with it, so they went with a European model, and that's probably more likely what we're going to see at this point. It looks like a slower storm coming in, more likely close to Monday, and maybe a little bit farther off towards south central Louisiana. Once again, these are just one run of each model, so kind of take them for what they're worth. They could completely change. We could see the GFS model switch back over into southwest Louisiana, jump over to Florida. It could go several different paths as we go through the next few days. So these are just one run, but this is kind of what the Hurricane Center is looking at, these type of models to make their forecast as we go into the next few days. So this is the current track, and like I said, it could change. What should you be doing right now? Well, as we mentioned, right now I would still plan for something to maybe affect southeast Texas here. Go ahead and have that hurricane plan ready to go. Get you some supplies. If you don't need them this weekend, early Monday, you could definitely use them possibly later on in the hurricane season. The peak of hurricane season doesn't even come in until the second week of September, so we still got a ways to go. So those supplies will come in handy later on down the road possibly. Hopefully we don't need them, but they could possibly come in handy later on. Of course, keep monitoring the forecast. Like I said, this could change, so we could see a wobble east or west on this track, and just be weather aware, especially as we get into Sunday into Monday, as that storm does start to make a push towards the coastline early into maybe Monday morning. Right now, scattered showers through Saturday each afternoon, and then watching that Gulf on Sunday into Monday as that storm starts to approach. After that, Tuesday into Wednesday, rain chances go down as it moves away, and we'll see some scattered showers after that. Once again, if you're just tuning in to this live stream here. I want to go through the track one more time and show you what they're thinking, the National Hurricane Center. Right now it's in the Caribbean, just to the south and west of Jamaica. Tropical depression number 9, 35-mile-an-hour winds, moving to the northwest at 13. Over Cuba, it looks like Friday night, the western tip of Cuba, going into the Gulf of Mexico as we get into Saturday, strengthening to a Category 1 by Saturday night. Sunday morning, they're expected to possibly be a Category 2 south of Louisiana, and then possibly coming in as a Category 2 near Vermilion Bay sometime late Sunday night, very early on Monday morning. Once it does make landfall, it should weaken down to a Category 1 by 6, 7 a.m. on Monday, as it looks like it's going to be fairly close to about Lafayette, Louisiana at this point. It'll continue to move towards the north and then eventually east, so it's not going to stick around. We're not going to see a ton of rain from this as it continues to move off towards the north and east. So it's not going to be a Harvey. A lot of people ask that question. Is it going to be a Harvey? I understand that question, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to continue to move. All right, I'm looking at some comments here, so if you have any questions, you go ahead and ask those. But right now, this is the current track. Yes, it could shift east or west, so that's why we need to watch it through the next couple of days, through the weekend until we get into Monday. But right now, I'm liking the track. I'm liking the trend off towards the east. The farther to the east we can get it to go, the better off we will be. Of course, as we mentioned, the west side is the weaker side of the storm, typically on a hurricane, so you don't get quite as much rain and wind. So that's a pretty good news for us. I wish we could just have it go away, Brandy. I wish we could. So, well, so a lot of this, once again, I saw somebody comment on a social media post. You've got to really take a look at these social media posts. A lot of these posts I've been noticing are, you look at it and it looks like there's a hurricane coming right over top of us or something like that, and then you notice the post is from 2 or 3 days ago. This is an old track of an old model or something like that. You really got to make sure you're looking at a current post that was just posted recently. That's one of the things about social media. Also, of course, you've got to look at who's posting this. Is this somebody who's a meteorologist? Is it the Weather Service? Is it a television station with trained meteorologists? Or is it a 15-year-old kid who loves weather and likes to post about computer models? I mean, you've got to look at the source. So, number one, you got to make sure it's a fresh post. It's nothing old. It's from the last 6 hours or so. And number two, you got to make sure your sources of that post are reputable people who know what they're talking about. So please, when you're looking at posts on social media, take them with a grain of salt and figure out what you're looking at before you start posting, you sharing it everywhere and telling everybody, here it comes, and this is going to be it. So once again, right now, this is the current track. This could change. So I posted this just a little bit ago. This will pop up again in another day or two, and the track might change by then, but this will definitely post up on Facebook again. I've seen it happen before, and they're like, wow, the track's right over us. Well, no, that was 2 days ago. If you look at the title of the post, it's not today. It was 2 days ago. So make sure you're looking at a current post when you're looking at stuff. So anyway, so once again, here's the current track, which is east of us. Depending on how large the storm gets, how far away from the center the hurricane force winds go, depending on how much wind we're going to receive from this thing. A lot of times hurricane force winds will extend out 20, 40 miles sometimes, and then you get your tropical storm force winds, which are basically between 39 and 74. They can extend out over 100 miles or so. That would definitely include parts of southeast Texas. So we're going to have to wait and see as it develops through the Gulf exactly how large it's going to become and how far out those winds extend from the center. And then also we're going to have to see the structure of the storm as far as how much rain is wrapping around this thing and see how much we're going to get. Typically, like I said, the heavy stuff, when you're talking about 10, 15 inches of rain, you're going to see that on the eastern side of a tropical system, while on the western side, you might end up with 3 to 6 inches of rain, something like that. So definitely we're going to be watching it through the next few days. We want you to continue to watch and keep things updated. Don't look at this and say, okay, well, we're safe. No, you've got to keep checking in with us, because this track, like I said, could wobble. If it wobbles 50 miles off towards the west, then it would be very close to what Laura track was, and that, remember how that tore up places like Newton County and Orange County as far as trees down and power outages and things like that. So we've got to watch this closely as it does come in over the next 3 or 4 days. Right now, once again, the track looks like it's going to be coming in possibly Category 2 as we go into late Sunday night, or maybe very early on Monday, maybe anywhere between 2 and 7 a.m. on Monday as far as coming in across Vermilion Bay. Once again, that's the current track. That can completely change going into the next couple of days. That might speed up. It might come in a little earlier on Sunday. It might come in a little bit later on Monday. It might be over New Orleans. It might be a little bit closer to us. We'll have to wait and see. But the current track right now. And also, Hurricane Hunter plane is going down in the system for this afternoon. That will tell us a lot as well. They're going to be taking measurements. Those measurements go into computer models, and that'll help give us a little bit better idea of maybe where this thing is going to go once those computer models actually get some information in there as far as some good observations from the Hurricane Hunter plane. So definitely can't wait to get that information out of the storm and see what the Hurricane Hunter are saying. They might upgrade it to a tropical storm by late this afternoon or even this evening. It would be Tropical Storm Ida. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Let me see if I see any comments here. I don't see a whole lot of comments. People concerned about Beaumont and Orange. I understand that. Once again, it just depends on what this storm structure is when it comes in. Typically on the west side, like we're going to be, it's going to be weaker. It's not going to be as much rain, but it depends on how far off towards the east it is and exactly how far out those winds extend from the center. So usually they don't extend too far out, but we'll have to wait and see as we get into Sunday into Monday. So like I said, I'm not seeing a ton of comments here, so I'm hoping that everybody gets the gist of what's going on. This is the initial track from the Hurricane Center. This will be adjusted as we go through the next few days. And if I were you, like I said, I would still have my supplies ready to go. I'd also still have a plan in case this thing does start to wobble a little bit more towards the west over the next couple of days, and maybe moves a little bit closer towards us. So we'll wait and see. Of course, Patrick's going to be on here a little bit later on today. He'll be giving you the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Once that Hurricane Hunter plane gets down in there, hopefully we'll have an update. I don't know if the 4 o'clock update is going to be from the Hurricane Hunter plane, but definitely as we get into the evening, we'll get some information from then, and that should update it just a little bit more. So once again, let me throw this graphic back up towards you. Have your plan ready to go, your supplies ready to go. Keep checking back with us for the latest updates and the latest track. And be weather aware, especially Sunday into Monday, as this comes in off the Gulf of Mexico and heads in our direction for maybe very early morning hours on Monday, making landfall. We'll have to wait and see. All right, everybody, I appreciate you watching. Like I said, keep watching our social media, and Patrick will be on here later on today doing another update, letting you know what's going to be happening. This is the first update from the Hurricane Center, the first track from the Hurricane Center, and hopefully it won't veer too much farther to the west as we go through the next few days. Right now the trend has been off towards the east. If we can get that trend to continue as we go into the next couple of days, that would even be better. You don't want to wish this upon anybody, but we just wish it would stay far away from Southeast Texas. That's our wish for now. Anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will be talking to you again tomorrow morning about this time. I'll do another update on the track, and like I said, continue to tune in to Patrick, who will be doing another update for later on tonight as we get more information on what is now Tropical Depression number 9.